Oh, hey. What's going on?
Yo.
That's
What's up, everybody? Yeah, we almost to a year. Almost to a year, so yeah, I'm letting all the yo's out.
Yeah, that was like 10 yo's.
One more episode to the year.
Yeah.
So I'm letting it all out.
Yeah.
Yo. We back one more again. We are back one more again. One away from a year of doing this.
Episode 51.
51 coming at you. You ready to do this?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Success in Black and White.
The podcast. We are back in the house one more again. We are back one more again. One episode away from a year.
Yes.
51 episodes in the books.
Yes. So we've been doing this for you every single week for an entire year.
Every week without missing one.
No, we
for
haven't.
a year.
Yeah.
A different episode every week.
That's right.
Not replaying.
We've never replayed
previous
Oh,
episodes.
I take that back.
What?
We had one episode. It wasn't a replay of ours, but it was one that I interviewed.
One that we did. Yeah.
Yes.
But it was a different episode.
It was a different episode.
You see me, I'm bowing up in the cameras.
You are bowing up.
I know it feels good though. 1 year to be committed, to be consistent, to make a plan, to set goals, and to see it through for a whole year without dropping off once.
This was not easy.
Oh no, I'm not saying that, but we saw it through.
We did.
We adjusted throughout the process. We had our ups, our downs. And from where we started to where we are now, from the first episode to this being the 51st episode, just the improvement, the knowledge that we've gained, the skill sets that we've gained, and the improvement and the quality up to this point, I'm pretty pumped up.
I'm excited.
So
yeah, I feel like we have a pretty excellently done podcast.
Yeah.
In terms of what we bring you every week. I think we drop a lot of knowledge and skill.
Yes.
I also think that our audio quality is really good. And the fact that we started recording so you guys can actually see us and kind of have that interaction with us, I think is
live.
really high quality. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And the fact that we kept it relatable. We didn't go outside of who we were and tried to do something that's not us or tried to be someone that's not us is what really excites me, that we did this ourselves and we stayed true to who we were throughout the entire process.
Yes, we
so
did.
I'm pretty pumped up. So I know we got an episode to do today, but
we do.
Knowing that we're coming up on that year, I'm pretty pumped up. So I definitely had to put that out there because I know the year episode is going to be pretty entertaining, and it's going to kind of give you snapshots of where we come from, and it's going to share some things that we've grown through throughout this process and throughout this year.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I had to jump on that soapbox for a second.
No, I'm excited, and I think it's a good plug because I'm excited for today's episode, but I am really excited. There's going to be a lot of work that goes into our year-long episode, because we are going to go back and talk about our favorite moments from the year. And you guys will get to hear pieces of those episodes with us.
Definitely. And
it's exciting.
Oh, yes. And they're going to be our favorites for many different reasons. So,
yeah, and we'll talk through them.
And we'll talk through them. And different people may have different favorites.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to engage for the year of what we put out and the people that we've engaged with and what you've taken away from it and kind of what we've seen from our side of it. So,
yeah.
All right. I know I took up about 4 or 5 minutes doing that, but I definitely felt like I had to, and I'm slipping off the soapbox.
It's okay. I think it's good. I'm excited.
All right. Where are we going today? Let's give them what they're about to get today, because we don't want to forget about today talking about
today's a good episode. Yeah.
next week.
I know. I mean, we are excited.
We're excited.
And we have a lot of things planned, but yes.
Let's be in the present for a moment. Let's be in the present for a moment.
Okay. So this week we were talking about defining your values, how to do that. Yeah.
I think that I think this is a good topic, one, because when you talk about defining values, and for us to have been doing this for almost a year, that there had to have been this process throughout, the year, that we had to define what our values about this podcast, this thing that we decided to do, was going to be. And I think that today we're going to break it down into a couple of different sectors of where you can apply some of the things that we have. Also, this is something that we are very passionate about, and something that we do together with groups in different, different settings. I think that
I just led a workshop on Monday night.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And I lead a couple of annual workshops with college students and some with professionals on this exact thing when they're coming into college and they're not around their parents or their guardians anymore, and how they are defining their values in this new setting that they're in. So I have fun with that. And then with some of the professional groups that we've done, as they're transitioning through different times and different stages in their career or in their work setting, we've kind of talked through what that looks like. So it's something that we've done, something that we're passionate about. And I think that we want to share some of those different ways that we do that with the groups with you all today live.
Yeah.
So stay with us.
Let's get a little personal.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Because I want to talk about the importance of why it's important to set value systems. And I think it's easy. I would venture to say, I did not do my research for this episode. Shame on me. But I would venture to say that there are a lot of people who do not take the time to actually define written values for themselves, for what they're doing either in relationships, for their businesses, for their work and career path, for their families, that kind of thing. I think it's easy just to not even think about it or think that it's a thing or an important thing to do. Or maybe you just think you don't have to write them down because I just innately have all these things that I do, or I was taught these things by my parents. I go to church every Sunday because that's what I grew up doing, and so it's one of my value systems. But if you don't define for yourself why you have the routines and the habits and the rituals that you have, why it's important and why you claim those values, then it's going to be difficult for you to stick to those values. And we ran into this. I hate putting you on the spot, but we talked about this last night. We had a very honest and frank discussion between the two of us about when was the last time that we sat down. We together have defined values for our relationship, for our marriage. We have defined values for business. We have defined values for ourselves. We've done that multiple times. And we talked about, do we have defined values for us as a family? And we realized that we really didn't, because there are things that are not going to translate from the values we have for each other and the values that we hold individually. Even if they're similar, they're not going to translate into we're talking about 4 people who are very separate individual people. Even if the kids are young, it doesn't matter. It's still important to define family values. And so we had a long discussion. We were actually supposed to record this podcast last night, and we didn't because we thought it was more important to have the discussion about the process for us to define our family values. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? What is the importance, kind of on top of what I've said about defining your systems and understanding why you're doing your rituals and habits more so than just because I grew up doing them? Besides that, what is the importance of defining values?
I think you kind of alluded to it in the explanation that you were given, and it creates that framework around why you are doing the things that you're doing and why the things that you value or that is important to you matters so much. So it creates that framework around it. I think that's the first thing, and I think that matters because everything that you do, it has to tie back to something or a purpose. And I think that that's why I wanted to have the conversation last night and why it mattered, because we were doing a lot of things that were habits and that were rituals, but they weren't geared or based towards a particular framework of how our family is going to be viewed or how we want our family to be represented. And that mattered to me. So like you said, we go to church every Sunday. But in the context of our family values and the framework of our family, what does that mean? We just go to church just because you go to church? Or are we going to define faith as one of the cornerstone values to our family? And I think that that's how it matters. Also, it kind of creates that level playing field. And what I mean by that, I'll give an analogy. So for instance, I grew up playing basketball and football, but I'll use the basketball analogy this time. So what if no one took the time to make sure that the court was clean, make sure all the dust was off, dust mop, and went across it with the floor cleaner, and to make sure that it was in playing conditions? When everybody get out there, the game is not going to go as smooth as possible. One, you increase the potential of injuries occurring. You also impact the game. So without doing that and taking that analogy and kind of creating the level playing field, you can go out there and do everything, but you still have those things that are kind of like lurking in the background, that by you just doing what you need to do out front and setting the foundation or the framework around the importance of what's about to happen, then you kind of lose that sight. So I think that for us and our family, I definitely felt like the conversation was very important, because we did a lot of things. Like, sure, we love each other and we express our love and we go to church and we do all these things together. We eat together. But I'm like, these are just isolated individual things that we do. How does this relate to the framework of our family and how we see ourselves as a family as a whole? So that's why I think it's important. So basically what we did is we kind of eliminated some of those barriers for the potential injuries, for the potential slips to impact the outcome of what we're trying to achieve as a family. So that's why I think it's important, and that's why I think it matters.
And I do think it's harder. It's not impossible, and it's something that you have to do, but it is a lot more of an in-depth process, and it's a little bit harder to set to set values for a group than it is for an individual. It's not easy to set them as an individual, but it's much easier than setting them for a group. So it does take more time, and it takes a process that you have to go through, for sure. How do values, or how should values kind of change through the seasons of your life as they change?
I think that as you go through the different seasons in life, that your values are going to shift. I'm not going to so much say change. I think you add some may come off the table, but they shift. And I think that as you mature, as you learn more, as you let different people into your life, it's going to change. I know specifically for us in our relationship, whereas when it was just us before, our daughter was here, our values were in different orders. Priorities were in different orders. And as we kind of grew together, and then we introduced a new being to the situation, our values changed. Whereas some things I felt like I could get away with, and you didn't really worry about that much. Once, Anna got here, you were like, okay, I want you to be around. So like, let's think about this, where our values are.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it changes and shifts throughout life.
That's true. There is actually a specific time that I can think of that I needed you to change your values.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was where you were working.
Yeah, it was a little side hustle, and it was good money.
Yes.
It was real good money. So
I think you should clarify, because right now it might sound like you like what side hustle you had that was good money.
No, I wasn't selling drugs, but I was around drug dealers.
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
Yeah.
Nah. So, back in the day, I had a little side gig where it was easy money, and I worked at a club, a very popular club, and they used to call on me, and I told them, I said, I only want to be an usher. I don't want to be no security guard because of my size. I mean, I'm 6'2". During that time, I was probably like 225, 230. They wanted me to be a security for the club. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I want to be an usher. So basically what I did was I held down the VIP areas and checked people passes to make sure they were supposed to be in VIP or not. Which was almost kind of like bouncer security like, but it wasn't in the mix where if something popped off, I had to, jump in. So I did that a lot, and I took on a lot of those gigs. And like I said, it was good money. They paid a lot of money. The club was packed every time, and I had a chance to see a lot of people in concert. I had a chance to see a lot of different events, and I got paid to do it.
Yeah.
And when you're an usher and you work with the people in the VIP, like they're a different type of people. They're not like the same people that's out on the floor. Like they are less rowdy. They like chill. They kind of like do their thing up there. And for me, it was easy because I'm like, oh yeah, you good. And once I find out who like holding the spot down, like basically who paid for it and got it. Like once I talk to them, I'm like, hey, if you need anything, holler at me. I got you. And then they'll just come and be like, they good. I'm like, okay, come on in. He said you good. He got the spot. Or either he'll say, nah, you need to check all their passes. So that's what I did. And I can tell you fights did break out in the club. There were times where things kind of got shut down because, stuff happened in the club. I'm going to leave it in the club. I ain't going to put all the business out there. But there were times where I had to evacuate the club.
Evacuate.
You know what I mean? I'm going to use that term, evacuate. But the money, though, was good. And we were able to do a lot of things together because of that.
Yeah.
But that was because, I got an update. No, don't restart now.
Please don't restart.
Oh, I know. All right, cool. I had an update on my computer and it tried to restart on me. So anyways, I was in the club, I was working, I was making good money. And then once we found out that we were about to have a little girl, it was kind of like, all right, D, like, nah, we don't need you dealing with this foolishness no more. So I need you to step back. And I had to give up my duties of ushering at the club.
I mean, it was a good gig for sure. And I won't fault it for that because it gave us
$500 a night for standing, ushering people in to the VIP.
It was a good gig, like I said.
Cash money. They paid cash money too. I ain't have to do no, let me stop for there. I done got the club shut down. I ain't had to do no W-2, no W-4s or nothing. They paid me cash money every night. And I literally stood up there, in my black and had my little flashlight and let people in the VIP who was supposed to be in the VIP in the sections. And got paid $500 a night for that.
It was a good gig, but it did get to a point where I was like, I need you to be around.
Yeah.
Because,
stuff did happen.
I'm 7-8 months pregnant and I'm about to have our child and I need you to be here and alive and in one piece.
Yeah.
And additionally, I mean, it wasn't safe for you on the roads, coming in at 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, that was
It just
tough.
wasn't, and that worried me. And so we made that decision that sometimes your value system is going to make you choose between one thing and another.
Yeah, we made that decision.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
No, yeah, but definitely the value systems did change. And once you expressed to me, because you know me, I wanted to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because one, it was providing for us and it was good for us. But you expressed that the values of our situation and my well-being and being available to my family and things matter more than the money. I was like, okay, I get it. It took me a while to actually say I get it, but I did and I understood.
Yeah.
And I quit working at the club.
You did. I appreciate it though.
Oh, I know you did. I know you did. Think about it though. You get paid to go to the club and chill in VIP.
That's true. And you saw some good acts.
I did. Yeah. I saw a lot of people in concert. I seen a lot of good stuff. And I mean front and center.
Yeah.
And the people used to always take care of me in the VIP.
Oh, you would get tipped out.
I know. And they try to give me drinks and stuff. I'm like, nah, I'm working right now. I can't drink.
Yeah.
And they order, wings and stuff. And they like, you good? Come chill for a second. I'm like, nah, I got to do my job. And they take care of me. And I was just like, this is cool. And it was easy. And then when stuff did happen, obviously, me, I know my surroundings and obviously working there. I knew the way out. Like they all put their hand on my shoulders and we all getting out. Like it just all worked out. And I had my same little spot all the time, front and center to the stage, off to the left. And it was cool and I enjoyed it. And I got paid, like I said, cash money, $500 out the door.
Yeah.
For that.
Hey, it wasn't a bad
Sometimes 2 nights a week.
It wasn't
so
great.
In a weekend, make $1,000 for just standing in the club. That's crazy, right?
It is crazy.
She made me give it up.
I know.
I mean, we agreed. I mean, we decided to give it up together. We talked about it. We made the decision. Why are you yawning?
Well, I'm tired because your son was up most of the night last night.
I'm like, my club story boring you?
No, your club story was exactly what happened.
All right.
But so anyway, and if you guys could see, if you're not on YouTube watching this, you probably should be, because Darryl's facial expressions are pretty priceless through most of this.
I'm just smiling. What's next? Come on, we gotta keep this thing moving, girl. We halfway through. I spent 20 minutes talking about the club. If y'all could feel my excitement in it, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was. Outside of the altercations that happened, but it was fun.
Yeah.
But here, okay, I'm gonna get off track, but it'll only be for like 30 seconds. You can time me. Why they tried to make me be security? You know what I mean?
Cause you big.
I'm not trying to be security. I ain't trying to break up no fights. I ain't trying to jump on nobody. You know what I mean? I don't want to be security. They try to make me be security. I'm like, let me be the usher. As soon as I said, they looked at me like, usher? I'm like, yeah, I want to be an usher. I want to wear my all black. You give me my flashlight. You give me my little side. It was almost like, what you call them little things you put on your hip?
Like a walkie-talkie?
No, not a walkie-talkie. Like a little bag, the little pouch.
Like a fanny pack?
A fanny pack, yeah. I had my little red fanny pack. I was doing it. All black, red fanny pack and a flashlight.
I bet you looked good.
Hey, but I turned it to the side, though. It wasn't like in the front or in the back where it like...
Much cooler.
Looked corny. Like it was like on the side.
No, the side probably looked really good.
And I had it loose so it was sagging a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like...
Oh, I bet you look great.
I was doing it with the fanny pack. Making that money.
Yeah.
I was doing it with the fanny pack.
Yeah, I'm sure it looked amazing.
What? With my
off to the side, hanging down halfway.
I enjoyed my flashlight though, because if you ever been to the club, anybody that's listening to this that's been to the club, and then if you haven't been to the club, I'm just going to take you on the inside of a club. You know, the security and the ushers and stuff, they get the little flashlight. So when they come through, they get to do the little shine through, and everybody see the little flashlight and the thing part like the Red Sea. You know what I mean? It open up, and then people come through with the flashlight. I used to love doing that.
You're Moses.
I know. When people wanted their bottles in the VIP, I had to step down and be like, "Hey, let me through. Let me get this bottle." Hey, it was fun though.
You're
it was
so
tight.
funny.
Or either I flash it over to the little bottle service girls and they'll come walk over there and put the little sparklers on it. All right, I'm going back to the club.
Get back to that club.
We gonna have to go one night, and I'm just gonna have to get a VIP so you can get the full experience of what I used to work at. You know what I mean? We'll be on the inside of it, and then our usher, I'd be able to be like, "Hey man, I used to do that." You know what I'm saying?
I would love that.
I was an usher just like you one day. Now I'm sitting in the VIP. You too can make success your lifestyle.
You're so funny.
Anyways, define your values. We defined our values, and she made me come up out the club. Come on, let's keep moving.
Yes, that is true. So I think we can talk about then kind of how we have defined values. We definitely have processes to do this. We have processes that we lead people through to do this, especially when they're big groups of people. And so I want to help people understand how to do this, because they might be like, why? I mean, now I know it could be necessary, but why should I do it, and how do I do it? And I think, well, we talked about kind of how it's defining your life right now in this moment, but I think another really important thing is that values help you determine where you're going. Right?
Yep.
And I think like when we think about career, or we think about kind of like you said, how you want your family to...
Keep talking, baby.
Like how you want your family to...
Keep talking.
Oh, like how you want your family to... how you want them to be represented, or, that kind of thing.
Keep going, baby. Your gain got turned down. And I haven't been paying attention. I just looked over here, and your gain is like way down. See, look.
Are we going to be able to hear me?
Yeah, I can fix that. I done figured to edit, but see, that's you right there.
Oh.
And that's me.
Oh, I'm very low.
I know, because your gain got turned down. I had to look and see what was happening.
Oh.
And I looked over, and your gain was like almost on 1.
Oh. Well, that'll do it.
And then mine is on
10.
Oh yeah, mine's way up there.
Yeah.
You can keep talking though. I'm just adjusting your gain. This gonna look funny. This look funny on the film though. It look like I'm all like. Go see on YouTube if you want to see what we're talking about.
Anyway, so what I was talking about was why it's important to have values in defining your future, because that will guide what you do and the opportunities that you go for, and how, say for us, like how our family is represented, how our kids understand how our family needs to be represented if they are part of this family and a part of this group and they subscribe to these values, which they will, because we're going to include them in parts of the process. At least Anna. Vaughn is, still jumping off the couch.
We'll bring them in. But we'll bring them in and let them at least sit and see that we're all together for a reason. Yeah.
And he does like that. He's so cute when we're like praying at the dinner table, and he will grab my hand and like bow his head, and
then he be peeking, and then he know when it's my turn. He'll be like, Dad.
Yeah,
I'm like, hold on, buddy. I'm gonna pray. Give me a second. Let your sister finish her verse. Your sister get to do her verse, and then it's my verse.
That's funny.
But he'd be like, Dad. I'm like, hold your horses. I'm gonna get this prayer for you. But it do be funny. He do like to be included.
He does. He does. So anyway, we do have processes that we go through for ourselves, that we go through with others. And I want to give some of the tips and tricks.
Let's do that.
Because yes, we actually do this as part of workshop series. We come in and facilitate, but I want you guys to be able to do this for yourselves too. One of the things that we do, and this is something that we facilitate, but you can do this on your own as well, is we will go in, we'll get a big sheet of values with like 50 to 100 values, like depending on how much you actually want to look through. But we get a big sheet of values, and then we ask people to first narrow their values to like 20. So you have to circle 20 values that represent you, that represent the things that you think you stand for. And then you have to go in and you have to eliminate 10 of those. Right? And so it gets a little bit hard. And when we get to this part of the process, people are like, oh my gosh, you're going to make me eliminate out of like, I chose out of a list of like, let's say there was a list of 75 values. I already had to choose 20, and now you're going to make me go down to 10. And so people get real fired up about it.
They get fired up about that.
Yeah. So then they really don't like us when we stand up and we're like, hey, we need you to narrow down to 8. And so cross 2 more of those off your list. And so they really don't like that. And then we make them cross 3 more off. So they're down to a total of 5 values. And this is significant and it's important because a lot of times with the list of values that we have, there's a lot of overlap in the words that are used, but some have slightly different meanings, or they may mean something different to somebody, to like this person, than they do to this person.
Right.
And so we think it's important to make people narrow those things down. And one of the things that we tell people as we do this workshop is that we're not telling you that those things that you crossed off or that you never even circled in the first place are not important to you, or you don't uphold them. Because I've had people like, oh my gosh, you are making me choose between family and faith, And so they'll say stuff like that, and I'm like, no. It doesn't mean that value is not important to you. But if you don't have a way to prioritize your top 5 values, like basically the concept is if everything is important, then really nothing is important to you. And so it doesn't mean that those other things are not important. It just means these are the top 5 that you're going to prioritize in your life.
Yeah. I think the second part to this workshop, which I get to do, is fun for me. So after we do that, then we come back, and if you've ever played the game Either Or, it's like that. So basically an example would be you just got your paycheck on Friday and your rent is due, but your friends also want to go out to the club. Which are you going to do and why? Are you going to pay the rent because you know it's due, or are you going to spend your money going out with your friends at the club? And I mean, those are two, to some people, and especially when we do this with college students, those are 2 big deals. It's like, oh man, I want to go out. I want to be on the scene. I want to hang out with my friends, and I value friendship, and I value, hanging out and enjoying experiences. And then I'm just like, so you would rather do that than have somewhere to live? No, I wouldn't pay my rent, but if I miss a month, then they'll just make me double up on the next, and then we make them talk through it, and they have to pick either or, and then explain why, and then tie it back to their values and how they came to making that decision. So that's the part that I like.
Yeah.
So when April's kind of going through, and we worked through it together, and we were making them cut from 50 to like 20 to 10 to 8 to 5. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't. And then I come right back and hit them with the club or rent. And they just like, oh my God, I want to go out, but I got to pay my rent. You know what I mean? But what it does is it make you think, and it brings real life into perspective, whereas you're going to have to make tough decisions, and you have to have values or some type of system around the decisions that you're making.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it. And like we said, you can definitely do it by yourself. But I definitely know that with us two and the dynamic that we bring in, the excitement, it definitely makes it a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more fun.
Yeah. And then another thing that I added into this past week when I did the workshop with the group that I did the workshop with, I added something new in because as I
hear this new. I don't know about the new, y'all. I know we done did this. I mean, a lot of times. Yeah. So, and she just did one by herself on Monday, and I wasn't a part of that. I was at the house with the kids, and she just told me just now in this episode that she got a new with the process.
So
tell me about this new. This is my first time hearing about it, so I don't know. Just like y'all don't know. Tell me about the new, Miss New.
So you know me well, and a lot of you, if you've been listening or watching, you also know me very well now at this point, and you know that storytelling is really important to me. And there's a reason for that, and that is because I believe that a story, if it's your story, if it's somebody else's story, however that story comes about, that story has a lesson behind it, or there's a really key takeaway behind your story. And so what I had the people in this workshop do was I had them talk to me. Well, I had them write down, and they had to talk to me and talk to each other about the origin of their values. So where did their values come from? What is the origin story of their values? Did it come from their parents? Did it come from something that they picked up on? Maybe they went through a really hard time in their lives, and so they picked up on this habit and it became a value for them. And so I wanted them to reflect on that, because that's a super important part of telling your story. Like, you can't tell the last 10 chapters in a book without talking through the first 20 chapters first. That makes up the entirety of your story. And so they had to go through and explain the origin story of their values.
I like that. We got to do that together now. She done added something new. But hey, I like that though. You just leveled up our values exercise.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's good stuff. I missed out on it.
I know.
Wow.
Sorry.
No,
you
it's
were
all
the kid,
good.
so.
I know, but I get excited about this stuff, and she hit me with the new.
New.
And I ain't even get the experience yet. That's cool. That's good though. I think that that really matters, because a lot of times when we have done this previously, and it could have been for whatever reason, or we just never thought of it until you went and did that on Monday. But I feel like that backstory kind of matters, because we make them pick, but we never really get into the depths of why they are picking those values. Which, if I'm taking what you're saying correctly, is you make them reflect and identify experiences or influences that have brought those top values to the forefront in their lives.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, and I did it after they had to select their values.
Oh, that's even better. So they couldn't
Right. They couldn't flip-flop. They had to really help themselves understand why it was important to have the values that they listed. And so it was just a really good exercise. I encourage you guys. I mean, yes, we would love to come in and lead workshops if you're doing this in a group, but if you just need to define for yourselves, do the things that we told you to do. We can post the resources. We can post the list of values for you.
Yeah.
And then just walk through and narrow them down to 5. However you have to get there. Sometimes it takes I recommend elimination, because I think it makes you think more in depth about the things that you're eliminating and why, instead of just going through and choosing your top 5. I think you need to do elimination, but you can go through and choose your top 5 on your own.
I agree with the elimination process. And one of the reasons why we chose this, and I'm pretty sure when I say this, you're probably like, yep. One of the reasons why we chose the elimination process is because it helps you to not think too much about it. When you're trying to pick your top 5, like you get stuck and you think about it. Whereas we say, pick 25 that stand out to you. Your top 5 are going to get mixed in with that anyways. You're going to go through like, oh, yeah, I like this. And the more that you have, the easier it is for you to pick without thinking about it too much into depth. And then as you eliminate, you have time to kind of process throughout the elimination process. Yeah. Whereas you're looking at 50, however many different values, you're like, oh my gosh, I really like this one. Mm-hmm. Oh, but I see this one, I really like this one, but do I like this one more? And you start to think, and it takes a long time. And you start to lose that authenticity of why it is of value to you. Whereas with the elimination process, we're like, oh, pick 30 of them if you want. And you're like, oh, I got this. Oh, this one. And then when you get down to the last two, you're like, oh, I'm going to go with this one. But your top 5 are going to be in there. And then we kind of go through and break it out in that process. Because I know we've tried to do like pick your top 5. And everybody's just like, oh, I like this. Oh, no, I don't. Oh, and then we just be there all day. And we'd be like, all right, everybody got 5. No, wait, I got to get 2 more. Yeah. Whereas when you eliminate and you narrow them down, they're just like, dang, I got to pick one. All right, this one gone. Shoot. Yeah. So I think that's why the elimination process works. But definitely if you want to pick your top 5, you can do that. And then one last disclaimer. We share the sheet that has, I don't know how many you said, 52 or however many it has on there. But if you have any additional values, you can definitely add them in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we let people do that because the list is never exhaustive. Nope. Like, people are so different and multifaceted that you can't ever have a comprehensive list of values for a population, right?
That's right.
So that is our process. That's how we go through values for ourselves. That's how we lead workshops surrounding values for other people. Yeah. And we think that they're super important, not just to define who you are today, but to define who you will become in the future and to help guide your life in what you should be doing based around your value system.
Right. And I like that new added component that you get a chance to reflect, because I think that is very important because you're impacted, influenced, directed, pushed, driven by different things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you don't have a chance to think about it. And it does influence the decision or the value that you decide to make as a key component to your life or where you're trying to go. So I think it's good to have that opportunity. I think that's a great component that you added in.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to see it in action where we're doing one together though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
What else?
That's all I've got.
That's it?
Yeah.
So, 51.
51.
Listening to this, y'all will probably see us like jump all over the area. They're like, y'all been doing all over the area? Is that it?
Oh, no.
Jumping all over the place. Anyways, y'all probably like, they've been doing this for a long. They was everywhere. Yeah. This was fun. We definitely want to talk about defining values, but I'm so pumped that we're coming up on a year.
Next week. I'm excited.
Yeah, so get ready for that. Yeah. Hopefully you take some time, think about your values. If you have them, make sure that they're still priority for you and creates that framework around how you want to be represented. And if you have a family, define what those values are for your family as a whole, because it matters. It's important. And I think it kind of pushes you towards your purpose.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, living out your purpose. And want to bring us in, reach out to us.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely see what we can work out and come in and help you or your organization or your group or your family, anybody. We'll come talk to you and try to help you figure that out. So, yeah. All right.
That's all I got.
Well, it's never too late to make success your lifestyle.
I thought he was going to burst into song.
Nah, I ain't got a song.
Oh.
I might try to come up with one for the next year.
Oh.
I can't sing, but I definitely will come up with a song, though.
Oh.
I did kind of do the never too late.
I know.
It's never too late. Never too late. I got to go back to the club some more so I can. All right, y'all. That's it. We out.
All right. Bye.
Peace.